Pain heals. Chicks dig scars. Glory lasts forever.
Calls mount for ESPN broadcaster to be banned for her Caitlin Clark stance in Indiana versus Dallas game. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for your support. Appreciate you being here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. You look absolutely fabulous. I just had to tell you that. Oh man, here we go. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Shout out to the 19. Let's talk about this. So, what are these calls all about? Why are people so upset with Rebecca Lobo? Now, I might have gotten it because, at the beginning, all the page glazing was definitely getting to me as well. Page this, page that, page is wonderful. But apparently, that's not actually what they were talking about. No, no, no. You see, Rebecca Lobo had the audacity, the unmitigated gall to commentate with the truth and talk about the fouls that were being left uncalled when it came to Caitlin Clark. Yes, we had people absolutely losing their mind. And this is what she said. Oh, there's a grab, a hold, another grab. Every single one is a foul, she snapped. And finally, they call it. Now, again, of course, and I will show it to you, she was correct. We all know this has been a problem throughout Caitlin Clark's career. We have mountains and mountains of evidence, universes full of evidence as to all the clutching, grabbing, punching, holding, kicking, shoving, blindsided attacks that Caitlin Clark has suffered without anything being called. And so the Hatelins, the low IQ doorknobs, are upset that Lobo is fangirling. Now, keep in mind a couple of things, but as you can see here, they want her off the commentary team. Yes, they want her off the commentary team. I can't watch any more of this game. Rebecca Lobo is such a horrible commentator. Rebecca Lobo is the worst commentator. She may as well look for a job working for the team. So much bias. Fever, what? Fever new mascot or PR marketing, wrote another fan. By the way, don't say wrote another fan. These are not fans. These are not fans. They don't know basketball. They never paid attention to the WNBA before they got an opportunity to yell about Caitlin Clark. She has long been accused of being biased in her commentary towards Clark. Lobo has called Clark the best passer in the league. She is the best passer. Like, this is absolutely wild. You have Rebecca Lobo. And look, to be fair, I've been critical of some of the things she said when I thought it was warranted. But here we are excoriating a commentator for doing her job the right way. Yes, this is her job, folks. These are fouls on Caitlin Clark. When Caitlin Clark does well, she should be praising Caitlin Clark. Again, the face of the league. None of us are talking about the WNBA without Caitlin Clark. Could you imagine back in the day an announcer saying, hey, the Jordan rules, right? Can we talk about the Jordan rules and what was happening to him and the Detroit Pistons and all of that? Very similar. Could we imagine an announcer back then saying, that is a foul? That should be Michael Jordan is getting smacked around and they aren't calling it. Could you imagine NBA fans calling for that announcer to be fired? No, you can't, because it would never and did not happen. But because Rebecca Lobo is effectively and accurately exposing the WNBA for its god awful double standard when it comes to how games are officiated for Caitlin Clark versus everyone else, she must be fired. By the way, this goes back to the bigger picture that we've all talked about with the mainstream so-called sports media, the WNBA stans who pretend to be sports media, and how badly they want to shut up people like myself, people like Rose at Black and White Sports 2, people like Ben Daniel and Mick and AK Nation and the Pope and on and on. If I miss somebody, I apologize. But They hate that we're out there. They hate that YouTube allows us to talk about these things because now they don't have a monopoly on the information. And this is the same thing. They want announcers controlled. They want announcers that won't tell the truth about what is going on with Caitlin Clark. Excuse me. Wow, apology. Ooh, apologies. That's what I get for having some smokehouse almonds before I do this video. I think I'm back. Ryan Rucco and Rebecca Lobo were doing a lot of Caitlin Clark PR about her getting grabbed and then had the sense to say that every other guard outside player in the W is getting the same. Yeah, they shouldn't have said that. ESPN, fire Rebecca Lobo, Ryan Rucco, and Holly Rowe. These people are wild. Um, Players are suffering more physically overall. It's not. I don't think they are suffering more physically overall. I think it's that again, Caitlin Clark has brought eyeballs from actual basketball fans to the WNBA for the first time ever. So people are noticing what is going on. The issue is systemic and not a result of favoritism. No, Caitlin Clark is clearly being officiated in a different way. Listening to Rebecca Lobo call a fever game is headache inducing, one fan griped. Oh my goodness, this is wild. Yes, ESPN broadcasters highlight her brilliance, but that's because it is brilliant. But then, of course, we've got to balance that, right? That's what we always have to do. We have to defend the fragile egos. At the same time, analysts must walk a fine line, celebrating a generational talent while not overshadowing the greatness already present in the league. Sorry, I hate to be blunt, hate to sound like I'm being mean and hating, but there was no greatness in the league before Caitlin Clark came along. That has been part of the problem. So, of course, these are kind of blurry, but this is stuff that wasn't called. I'm going to show you that clip in a minute. I think this is it. I'm not going to play the audio because sometimes the audio and video together it gets tricky. But this is when Rebecca's saying that part about that's a foul and that's a foul and that's a foul. She was being held there, being shoved there. She's going to be fouled there. She's run into. She was fouled there as well before she gives up the ball. Foul, foul, foul. Right, lots of fouls. They did finally call that last one on that one, but she is fouled over and over again without things being called. Oh, that's the same one. Um, Somebody mentioned that scratch on her shoulder. She gets stuff like that every game. And the other thing that was kind of funny here that it talks about is the sorry, why didn't that play? The look she's given. So somebody says, "Oh, that's kind of like the way she started tuning out Christy Sides last year." She's like, "Yeah, I don't want to hear your yapping. Leave me alone." I think we had another great picture here. Yeah, this was. We all know, especially from that game previous, right? This is not called, folks. This is the stuff that goes on constantly with Caitlin Clark and is never called. And now they want to fire Rebecca Lobo for pointing out that this stuff happens. Now let me see. I think this is the right thing to show you. I think. Let me see. Yeah. So we can just see some here, but this is the type of stuff that is never called when it comes to remember that? Yeah, I remember. Oh, look at those faces. They never call this stuff. Yeah, let me hook up her arm and then make it and then complain that she's elbowing me. Again, there's grabbing one wrist, the other arm blocking her. You're supposed to have freedom of movement, but they never call any of this stuff when it comes to Caitlin Clark. There was the punch in the back, on and on and on. And she just simply does not get calls. And now Rebecca Lobo had the decency to be honest about the lack of calls for Caitlin Clark that are we're not talking about those ones that are like, oh, we got to review it in super slow from 87 different angles and we're still going to argue about it. These are blatant fouls that everybody knows is a foul, including the referees who choose not to call it because it is Caitlin Clark, because we have to placate the jealous players in the WNBA who throw hissy fits that someone has come into the league who is actually better, more skilled than they have ever been, not to mention, for the first time ever, a player with fans. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comments below. Appreciate you so much for being here. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for supporting me on this journey. I noticed a few back. You went over to the entertainment channel and subbed up there as well. I think we're over 140 subs over there, so we're getting there. We're rolling. We're rolling. But yeah, you go have the day you deserve. Don't change a thing about you. You're wonderful the way you are, and I will talk to you later.